Hello students, today I am taking fifth poem of class 11th, Father to Son, which is written by Elizabeth Jennings. First of all, I would like to tell you in short about the poetess. Elizabeth Jennings was born in 1926 and she is from UK. She is known as the most popular female British poet. Her poem Father to Son is autobiographical in nature and presents the relationship between a father and his son. First of all, I would like to tell you what is autobiography. Autobiography means when the writer writes about himself or herself. And this poem presents a relationship between a father and his son. What kind of relationship was there between father and his son? The father is disappointed and he finds himself helpless. In this poem, the father appears very much disappointed and distressed and finds himself helpless because of his son's nature. And let us see what is the reason of helplessness is. Now we are going to see the details, the reasons which are the cause of his helplessness. So let's start with the poem Father to Son. I do not understand this child, though we have lived together now in the same house for years. The opening line of the poem is that presents this that the father is showing his helplessness in understanding his son. I do not understand. The father says that he does not understand his child, though we have lived together now in the same house for years. Even though he has been living in the same house with his son and he has been living for years. But the relationship is not very positive between the father and the son. That's why the father is very sad. I know nothing of him. This line shows I know nothing of him. The father finds himself very much in miserable condition that he does not know anything about his son. This shows that the relationship between the father is not good and there is communication gap between the father and the son. And you may call it generation gap too, because father wants his son to express his feelings with his father and he wants to enjoy the moments with his son, but the son does not bothers about it at least. So try to build up a relationship from now. He was when small. The father finds himself very much distressed. So he tries to make a relationship nearness with his son by recollecting the past memories. How does we come to know that he is trying to recollect the past memories? Because he says he was when small. He is trying to find out the moments. He is trying to recollect the moments when his son was small and the relationship was very good, and he wants to find out the happiness of those moments by recollecting the past memories of his childhood. Yet have I killed the seed I spent or sown, it were the land of his and none of mine. Now the poet makes a question to us. Yet have I killed the seed I spent or sown, it were the land is his and none of mine. He thinks that in past he had committed some mistake in nurturing the son So that's why he has become so indifferent towards him. Even though he spent his time with his son, he nurtured him very well in his childhood, and he wanted him to become something else, and he has become something else. He feels that he planted the seed, and when it grows in the form of a tree, it appears to him that the land was not his. The land is his and none of mine. Because the child has become totally different from his desire, that's why he feels that he is he was not nurtured by him. He feels like that because there is quite differences between the father and the son. We speak like strangers. The father feels very much miserable with the behavior of his son because while they speak, it does not appear that they are having the relationship of father and son. Both meet with each other, and while they speak like the strangers because he does not find any affection in the conversation of his son, and he does not feels father like when his son talks to him. There is no sign. He finds there is no indication in his behavior of understanding in the ear. He feels then that while the son talks to him, it appears to him that there is no understanding in the atmosphere because the views are different of father and the son. The son has some different aspirations about life, and the father has some other desires from his son. The child is built to my design, yet what he loves cannot share. The father is very much disappointed because their relationship is not good, and the child is built to my design. The father says that he nurtured his child, his son, with very much affection and very much care according to his wish. He nurtured him like that, but what he loves I cannot share. Here, loves means likings because the son's likings are completely different. He's different kind of son who has no affection towards his father, and his likings are almost different, and the father feels that he cannot share it with others. He finds it very helpless. He finds himself very helpless in this situation that he cannot even talk about his likings, his ways of living, which he does not like. Silence surrounds us. The father further says that there is no conversation. Almost the son does not talk to him, and there is complete silence in the atmosphere, and there is no dialogues between the son and father. I would have him prodigal returning to his father's house, the home he knew, rather than see him make and move his word. The father is very much troubled with the silence of the which is surrounded them, and he wants his son It shows I would have him prodigal returning to his father's house. This line shows that at present moment the son does not live with his father and he has gone somewhere else. So the father is very much disturbed and he wants to use all the ways to make him happy. So he is ready to even change himself and he is ready to accept him as he is. And he says him prodigal. Prodigal means it shows that the son is extravagant. He wastes too much money and his living style is very much different. He leads a lavish life. Returning to his father's house, the father has the desire that he wants that his son should return to his house, and he feels if he comes back to his father's house, the home he knew, the home which he had left in past, rather than see him make and move his world. Father feels if he comes back to his house, he will accept him and he would like him not to leave this place and go somewhere else. He wants him to live with him and he does not want to leave him at for a single moment. He wants him to leave his world. He wants the son to leave the place where at present he is living, and he wants him to come back to his house, his father's house. I would forgive him. The father is ready to make any kind of compromise with the son. I would forgive him too. And he further adds that he is ready to forgive him for his past doings and he would accept him as it is, shaping from sorrow a new love. The father is very much ready to adopt from sorrow a new love. He is ready to forget the past and he is ready to forget the sorrows which he is at present facing in absence of his son. He wants to start a new life with love, a new existence with his son. Father and son, we both must live on the same globe and the same land. Father says to his son, we both must live. He wants, certainly they must live together in the same world, in the same place and same land. He wants him to come back to his house in the same house and same place. He speaks, I cannot understand myself why anger grows from grief. The father has become very much desperated. I cannot understand. He says he is unable to understand himself why anger grows from grief. Because his son does not live with him and there is no conversation, there is no communication between father and son. That's why father sometimes becomes very angry and this anger bursts out in the form of annoyance. He becomes angry because of his frustration and he wants to understand why this kind of change comes into him and he does not want to be an annoyed father. We each put out an empty hand, longing for something to forgive. Father says, we each put out an empty hand. We both are empty-handed, having nothing in hand. While they try to come close, little bit closer to each of them, each of them does not have this much of patience and understanding. They both feel that they are empty handed, longing for something to forgive, and both has desire for something, some purpose or motive to forgive each other. But no one is coming forward with this kind of feeling. That is the main problem. But still, the poem shows that father is ready to make any kind of compromise with the son because he wants to live with his son in the house, and he wants him to see be happy. The father is helpless because the relationship between the father and the son is not in good state, because there is generation gap between the father and the son. So this is the end of the poem. I have given all the question answers in description. If you like the poem, if you like the channel, please subscribe it for the further chapters. Thank you. Bye bye.